So I was chatting with some coworkers today, and I asked them if they were religious, and one guy said he was a Lutheran, and another one said she was part of a church but left it um, several years ago. And later in the conversation, she said, "Well, she didn't feel right with God," and I assume that's because she isn't going to church. And I found that funny because um, while I was attending church, I never felt right with God as an active member of a church. Now, maybe I did for maybe a few months where I felt like I was doing my very best at everything. And that lasted a few months. And I think because I pushed myself to the limits in that church, I found the limits and realized I, I could break through those limits. But anyway, my point of this short is tips on how to be good with God. Now, you don't get good with God by attending a church or attending a building or doing a repetitive checklist every day. You get with good with God. So I guess how to get good with God, the first question I would ask you is what does God want from you? And what he wants from you and for you is the very best. He wants the greatest amount of joy that you will receive. He wants to give you everything he has. And so, with that intent in mind, what do you have to do to achieve his purpose of him giving you everything he has? And so, those two questions I would ask. So, how do you get good with God? Well, do the best you can. I made a very short video about do the very best you can imagine and um, help others along the way. Well, it's the same thing. If you want to feel good with God, do the very best you can imagine or improve. Become a better person. Become more like Jesus. Another tip on how to become more like Jesus would be to ask yourself, what is the biggest thing in my life that is impeding my ability to improve? And write it down and then go work on that. Go work on that for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks straight. Every day, write it down and do something to chip away at that item. And you will find as you work at things deliberately over time, you will get better at them. So those are a couple ideas. I hope it helps.